Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sam G, your lifestyle and personal finance guy. To my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you stay, I hope you enjoy the content. To my returning subscribers, I really appreciate your support day in and day out. I never take it for granted. In today's video, I'll be talking to you about budgeting. I'll be sort of continuing the college grad series. So today I'll be talking to you about budgeting because it's an important part of your life after college. So stay tuned, relax, let's get right to it. A personal or household budget is a summary that compares your income and expenses and tracks it over a period of time. Typically, how we use it is for a monthly basis, right? You can always use it for maybe a weekly or yearly. It's purely up to you. So the period of time is defined by how you're budgeting your approach, right? So, and I kind of want us to get away from this field of thought that a budget is kind of like has a restrictive connotation to it. It's not necessarily the case. It's just a financial tool that can really help you optimize how much you have coming in and how much you have coming out. So just kind of want to put that out there first, that we need to get out of this mentality that a budget has a negative connotation to it or has this restrictive connotation. That's not really the case. It's just a tool, and how you use that tool is up to you. So the first thing you want to do is gather all of your financial paperwork, right? That's your W-2s, your 1099s, your mortgage loans, or auto loans, whichever loans that you have currently. And also you want to look at your utility bills, your receipts from the last 3 months. Essentially what we want to do here is we want to get an idea of how much you've been spending over the last 3 months, so we can get like some sort of estimated monthly average, right? And then from there we can have some sort of idea of how much you've been spending. Then we can look at your income and see if there's a net gain or like a net loss in how much you're spending. So the more information you can dig up, the better. We want to get some sort of idea of a monthly average. So dig up as much information as you can, and then we'll go to the next step. For the next step, you want to calculate your income. You want to know how much you have coming in, right? So if you get paid in the form of a paycheck, obviously you're going to use your net income after taxes or your take-home pay after taxes. If you're self-employed, you look at your outside resources, whether it's through your business, whether it's through some sort of investment. You have to get an idea of how much you have coming in, and we can compare that with the expenses that we had in the previous step and see how much we have net total, right? So take a look at your income, regardless of how your income comes in. You have to take a look at it and then go from there. So take a thorough look at your income and report the whole thing as a monthly amount, right? So just if you don't have any idea, just kind of have an average, a consistent average that you, at a minimum, you know every month you're gonna have, and then just factor that into your expenses and income and expenses sheet. So for the next step, you wanna detail your expenses, right? You wanna write everything down. The reason why we're writing it down is so we can categorize them into fixed expenses and variable expenses, right? Example of a fixed expense would be maybe your rent or your internet bill or your phone bill. An example of a variable expense would be something like maybe a gift, eating out, entertainment, something that might slightly change over time that you count as a variable expense. So you're gonna categorize them in this next step and then take a look at them and see which ones are fixed, which ones are variable. And by doing that, you might even see ones that you don't even necessarily need on there, and then it can help you save money that way. If you don't have an emergency fund, include surprise expenses that might pop up over the month and derail your budget. If you're not sure of how much you spend each month, review your credit card bills from the past 2 or 3 months and your bank statements as well to get some sort of rough idea of how much you spend. Next, total your monthly income and your expenses. If your income is more than your expenses, you're off to a good start. That means you have more funds that you can put towards things like retirement savings and also paying off your debt. So that's very good. You're off to a good start. Congratulations. If you make more than you spend, you should definitely consider adopting the 50-30-20 budgeting philosophy. So that means that 50% of your income goes towards your essential needs and expenses, 30% goes towards your savings and investments, and 20% goes to your debt payments, right? So if you have an auto loan, student loan, 20% of how much you make will go towards that, 30% will go towards savings, emergency funds, investments, 401k, Roth IRA, all of that stuff. That will cover 30% of your income, and then 50% you spend that on essential expenses, right? So if anything that's a want, maybe here and there you can slip up here and there, but you should definitely consider making sure that you're prioritizing what you're spending your money on, because that is very, very important, right? So 50% goes towards what you need and spend money on that. 30% goes towards your savings as well as your investments, and 20% goes towards your debt payments. And if you're in a position where you're spending more than you make, then you're overextending yourself financially, and you should definitely make some drastic changes as soon as possible. And this goes into my last and final tip: make adjustments to your expenses. If your expenses are higher than your income, you want to look into cutting back on your variable expenses. So that would mean eating out less, canceling your gym membership. Some of us don't go anyway, or canceling your Netflix account, or just using somebody else's Netflix account. I mean, these days you never know, man. So you want to cut out variable expenses like that, and then see how much it balances out after you're done, and from there you can take some more steps along the way. If your expenses are far above how much you make, then cutting back on your variable expenses may not be enough. You have to cut back on your expenses and also increase your income to balance those two out. The whole goal of having a budget sheet is to make sure that your income is at least equal to your expenses, right? Or your expenses are equal to your income. And then from there, once you start cutting back, you can actually keep money in your pocket, right? And make sure you're accounting for every dollar that you're making. So if you have significant debt, make sure you're also increasing your income, right? Because cutting back on expenses is not going to be enough. So make sure you're increasing your income. Find a side hustle, find something to do after your 9 to 5. You know, we live in a day of just hustlers, so find a side hustle that you love, do that on the side after work, and just help increase your income so you can make sure that your budgeting makes sense financially. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this set you on the path to just look in your life and just start a journey of self-improvement for 2022. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.